what's the difference between a contested divorce and an uncontested divorce? People will come to me and say, we've worked everything out, so it's uncontested. Well, it might be uncontested from the standpoint that the two partners have an agreement right now. However, you have to make sure that the appropriate legal protections are in whatever your agreement is, and that agreement has to be put into final paperwork called a judgment of divorce, or there'll be an appropriate child support order, or there'll be an appropriate spousal support order. You have to make sure that the proper language is in that paperwork. So, even though there may be an agreement between the two partners, and they might not think of it as a contested matter because they agree, and that could be considered an uncontested matter, you have to make sure the language is proper. An uncontested divorce usually will mean that one person has not filed any paperwork. They are not appearing in court, they're not hiring a lawyer, and they are going to allow you to move forward with your divorce case without anyone showing up on the other side. That's a true uncontested divorce. There can be an uncontested divorce where both sides agree, and we've already discussed how that would work. And they put their agreement into the final paperwork, and then they move forward. A contested divorce usually refers to a situation where there's high conflict, when there's disagreements about everything, and each side hires their own lawyers, and they're fighting through the process. Having given you the distinction between contested and uncontested, I prefer to view the process as being an amicable process or a hostile process. If it's an amicable process, that means that everybody is communicating to get all the necessary information that they need so that they can make the best decisions moving forward. That allows them to assess all of the circumstances. They can assess all the assets that were accumulated in the marriage. They can assess all the debt that was accumulated during the marriage. They can assess what the best interests are of their children, if they have children in that particular case. And they can communicate about what they believe is best for them and what they believe will be best for those children. If you have an open communication about that, that can create an amicable process where nobody is accusing the other side of doing bad things, and you don't have to have fights about every step of the way. That doesn't mean that everybody agrees on all the issues. Sometimes you can have a friendly disagreement, or you can agree to disagree, and there's certain processes that will help resolve those issues. Now, compare that to a high conflict divorce. A high conflict divorce usually involves one partner and sometimes two partners that don't want to agree on everything or anything because they just don't want the other side to win. They view everything as a zero-sum game. If there's something that the other side gets, that means that they didn't get something. That can be a very dangerous way to handle a divorce. That creates the high conflict because every single thing that happens in that divorce case is just going to be an argument, it's going to be a battle, and sometimes it's going to be a war. The end result of that is you lose significant peace of mind in that process, but it's going to be a very expensive process. Make no mistake about it, that when each side wants to fight about something, that means there's more time that lawyers are going to put into that process. That means they're going to charge their clients more money. The more times you're going to court, there's more lawyer involvement, and there's going to be more money spent on that process. That is usually not going to be to the benefit of either party. There has to be a very clear assessment of what kind of divorce it's going to be, whether you want to call it a contested divorce or an uncontested divorce. But more importantly, is it going to be an amicable divorce, or is it going to be a hostile or high conflict divorce?